Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We are going to be talking about Kringle Candle Reserve Jolly Gingerbread. Now, this is the first of what will hopefully be 4 post-burn reviews that I will get out for you guys prior to this candle becoming available. Full disclosure, you guys, this candle was sent to me by Kringle Candle for review purposes. However, if you've been with my channel any length of time, you guys know I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to give you my honest burn experience as well as what my nose is detecting. So last weekend, I uploaded a fun video with my husband, Cody. I will link that at the end of this video if you happen to have missed that. But in that video, we went over our cold sniff impressions of the 4 fragrances that are going to be available in this new holiday reserve lineup. Now, these candles will be available this Tuesday, October 28th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a feeling, just based off of the comments on my video as well as what I am seeing in the Kringle Facebook group, that this is probably the candle that has gained the most interest. Obviously, it's a gourmand. And if you caught that video, a little bit of a spoiler alert if you haven't, this was my favorite fragrance on cold of all 4. Now, I am just going to let you guys know my rankings have actually shifted just a little bit since I have started burning these candles. But spoiler alert, this one still is in that #1 position. So let's go ahead and go over the specifics of this candle. First and foremost, like I said, this is part of the reserve lineup, which has this translucent black vessel. It is 22 ounces of 100% soy wax. It will retail for $34. I do have an affiliate discount code with Kringle. It is Katie15. It should save you 15% on your purchase over there. So let's go ahead and talk about the fragrance notes as well as what my nose is detecting and get into the burn performance. So this specific pour date of this candle is July 16th, 2025. So these were not just poured. These have kind of been sitting a little while. Fragrance notes are top notes of baked gingerbread accord, creamy butter. Mid notes, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and ginger. Base note, sweet light cream and vanilla bean. Okay, so like I said, I mentioned in the cold sniff video that this one was my favorite fragrance. Now, that being said, you guys, I am somebody who typically does like gingerbread fragrances. I know that gingerbread can kind of be polarizing, probably because there are a lot of people who don't like particularly spicy fragrances, or they don't like ginger. Ginger is, again, a fragrance note that not everybody's nose agrees with. Mine can go either way with it, but in the past, I have typically liked gingerbread scents. I'm going to tell you guys, this fragrance is actually really nice. Last year, they had a fragrance called, I think it was called Gingerbread and Frosting or something like that, Gingerbread Frosting. And I actually did not like that fragrance because I felt like there was this weird, almost like berry note mixed in with the vanilla frosting accord. It was a little bit heavier on that accord than the gingerbread note. And it came across a little bit sour and lactonic to my nose. I am very happy to report that despite the picture here, you know, you've got a little bit of frosting on these cookies. To me, you guys, this fragrance is definitely more just a good, dense gingerbread fragrance. The ginger note in here is not too zesty and zingy. So if that is something that scares you, I would say in comparison to a fragrance that would be in this family that I've recently burned, which would be Hallmark's Pumpkin Gingerbread. Pumpkin Gingerbread from Hallmark's is actually a little bit zestier than this fragrance. This is definitely more toned down. I do get the spice elements that are listed there in the mid notes: the cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, ginger. Like I said, the ginger is not too zingy. I do feel like the nutmeg and the clove balance out the cinnamon in this fragrance. This is not overtly red hot cinnamon. If you are familiar with some fragrances from Kringle, like say last winter they had a fragrance called Frosted Spice. That is very cinnamon forward. Deck the Halls, very cinnamon forward. This is definitely more of a softer cinnamon to my nose. But also keep in mind, you guys, I do tend to like fragrances that have some spice in it. I am not overly sensitive to spice fragrances. So I do know that there are some other reviewers that they really don't like spice notes, and they will let you know. But to me, I like this. Now it's interesting, the top notes of baked gingerbread accord and creamy butter. The creamy butter aspect is something that I actually picked up on Cold Sniff, and I do think that that comes through very nicely in this candle. I think that it lends a slight savoriness to this fragrance, maybe in some ways like a density. The gingerbread to me does not really seem like it would be like a very soft gingerbread. It's definitely more of I don't want to say it's like a crispy gingerbread, but it is more of like what I would find in a gingerbread cookie, but maybe it's slightly overbaked. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not quite like a ginger snap. Again, not super spicy in that element. But it's very, very well done. In terms of the sweet light cream and the vanilla bean, I personally don't detect any kind of creaminess to this candle. It is definitely more so just a good, authentic gingerbread fragrance. I feel like it's very well blended with the spice mixture in there, with that density that the butter provides. And it just kind of reminds me of like a gingerbread cookie. Not too much in your face, not overly spicy, but it's very, very well done. So let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle, because I have actually already burned. You can probably see this here. I've already gotten to the halfway burn mark on this candle. Now, I do think that that is for a reason. You are looking at these wicks here right now, and what do you notice? They're burning pretty hot and fast, and if you're catching it, there is a little bit of soot coming up on this. Now, I have had this candle lit now for about 3.5 hours, and normally with my Kringle candles, I can let them go for a long period of time because the soy wax burns really cleanly. I will tell you, this is one of those candles that you're going to want to keep an eye on, and probably if you're enjoying the fragrance, you're going to want to dip the wicks, extinguish them somehow, trim the wicks, and then you can go ahead and relight. But this is why, you guys, I'll let you see it here live and in action. So yes, you can see some carbon residue has formed, but I will also insert a little picture here that I took of this candle. I want to say it was after like the second or third burn. You can see that there are very large mushroom tops that have accrued after burning this candle. This one has those wicks that are burning very hot, very fast. So if you want to reduce the soot on it, or the possibility of soot, you're going to need to keep the wicks trimmed on this candle. Now, I have been trimming the wicks upon each new burn, and it's still burning pretty hot and fast for me. So it is just the nature of these wicks. I will say strength and throw on this candle, I'm going to settle at about a 7 on this one. This is not, and I think that this is partly a good thing, particularly, again, because gingerbread, I think Kringle knows that gingerbread fragrances can possibly be, they can quickly become too much, I would think, if they're too strong. So I personally think that the strength and throw on this one, I might want it to be like 1 notch higher. I would say a candle for me that is like perfection, or like is really good for me in terms of strength and throw. If I give a candle at anywhere between an 8 and a 9, that's usually, I'm pretty happy with the performance of it. This one's about a 7, and I wish that it were slightly stronger. Now, if I were to pop this into a hurricane, I might be able to accomplish that. I have not tried that yet, but I'm going to give this one about a 7. It performs really well in the closed spaces. In fact, when I have burned this in my daughter's bedroom, it does project outside of the bedroom. So I do know that it has the ability to throw, as well as out in the open concept living room. I have been burning it the last 2 days, and it's funny. It's one of those fragrances that, like, you definitely smell it. Like if you walk out of the room and you walk back in, you will smell it. But you might go a little bit nose blind to it if you're in the room for too long in a more open concept space. If you're in a smaller closed concept area, I don't find myself going nose blind to it at all. I've burned it in my master bedroom as well, and have found that every time I walk in there and while I am in there, I can smell it very, very well. But again, in a more open concept, that might be a little bit more iffy. And so that's why I'm going to go ahead and settle on a 7, because I do smell it out in the kitchen when I'm burning it in the living room, but it's not as strong smelling as when it is in the closed concept areas of my house. Overall, you guys, I'm going to be honest, I am actually contemplating purchasing another one of these. Kringle does give their ambassadors every once in a while for some of their launches. They do give their ambassadors the ability to pre-order. They do place a limit on us, you guys. Like we're not going hog wild, but they do allow us to purchase these in a pre-order at a discount. And so there is part of me that is thinking about placing an order for not only this one, but there's another fragrance that I'm going to be reviewing that you guys might be surprised to see that I might want a backup of. Spoiler alert, you guys, this one is burning really, really nicely with the Enchanted Winter fragrance. But if you want to use this as like a holiday scent, this will pair really nicely with any of the holiday tree scents that Kringle has to offer. They have quite a bit in their lineup. I think that this would go really nicely with like Snow-Capped Fraser. You could burn this with Christmas. This one is definitely, it will go well with a lot of other fragrances. So overall, you guys, this candle does get 2 thumbs up from me. Like I said, this is going to be available this Tuesday, October 28th at 12 p.m. Eastern. KD15 will save you 15% off of your purchase. I can't remember if I mentioned earlier, that is an affiliate code that's eligible for a commission. So please only use that if you are comfortable doing so. But let me know in the comment section down below if this one is on your list. Or I have heard from some people they've already been asking in the Facebook group, like, hey, does this have more of a creaminess or a frosting accord? I do prefer that. If upon watching this review, you see that that is not present to my nose, maybe I've saved you some money, and that's always a good thing as well. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. You guys, the next couple of days are going to be pretty heavy on the Kringle content because I am trying to get post-burn reviews done for you guys prior to the launch this Tuesday. And I do also have an order on the way. It says that it should be here. I'm pre-filming this a couple of days before I'm planning to put this up, but it's saying that the order should be here this weekend. I did place an order for some 3 wicks and a Christmas fragrance that is very, very popular, you guys, and I have never had it before. So I'll be excited to share that little haul with you guys when it arrives on my doorstep. So like I said, probably pretty heavy on the Kringle content over the next couple of days. But yeah, if you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing if you are new. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.